Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Josh here with On the Wrong Lead, and we have a bit of a situation here. Apparently, the early pick 5 at Turfway carried over. Normally, they only have one pick 5 per day. However, they are running 10 races, probably because of cancellations and stuff, and they have to catch up. And starting race 6, we have a $69,000 carryover into the late pick 5. So let me introduce my two compatriots here that are online. Mr. Mark Capitan, Mr. Caleb Knight. Caleb has not looked at anything and is currently working on getting his pick 5 ticket together. Mark already had one kind of together, so he's now just wondering how much money exactly he's going to lose at Turfway Park tonight with the $70,000 carryover. Interestingly enough, I think with the short flip, we might get a pretty big positive expectation here.
Yeah, I would imagine a lot of people don't realize this carried, and the only people who are playing it are people who are planning on playing it already. None of the big players have had time to put huge tickets together. So this is the kind of stab you want to be taking, and we're all kind of last minute going, "Oh man, we got to get this thing together."
Caleb, how much racing stuff have you looked at today?
I looked at the 2 Oaklawn races and the Tampa Bay Downs race. I haven't looked at Turfway.
So you're doing what is sometimes commonly known to as Josh handicapping, this pick 5 sequence. It sounds like. Funny enough is, and this will be a good exercise. Let me see. Once again, Mark, I'm going to need you to keep an eye and let me know if shit goes haywire when I share my screen here. Am I popping? Am I sounding okay still?
Nope, you're good, man.
Okay. I don't know what was causing it last time, but let's roll with this and hopefully we don't run into issues. Someone asked me once, they were asking how long it takes me to get through a race, and I was like, I don't know, 1 or 2 minutes, and they just didn't understand. They're like, how could you understand? How could you get through a race that quickly? So I'm gonna, I guess, real quick, while Caleb probably handicaps the rest of the sequence, while I walk through this one race. I guess I'll walk through my process real quick, and then we'll get to talking about this sequence. I'm only through 3 of the legs so far. So this is race 9. This is the 4th leg. I'm a Brisnet guy. I'm a very heavy user of Brisnet. I got my scratches in here, the 14 to 13. First thing I'm looking for is pace, and there's 2 things that really jump out at me here, and might just be the 2 horses I use already. But let me find the highlighter. Oh crap! There it is.
Oh, you broke it, Josh.
Is it messed up now?
No, you're fine.
Oh God, don't mess with me. I got a 3 cherry horse here in the 6 Buck Moon, and then the other horse, the 3 here, Karam. If you just kind of compare the average pace figures with the rest of the horses, this horse seems to kind of stand out here. So that's basically where my handicapping is going to start, with these 2 horses. If you look, you notice there's not really a ton of early speed. We have a video up on how to read Brisnet to talk about Kieran speed points and pace and stuff. So we can cut through all that up right away. But 3 and 6, I mean, they also happen to be the favorites here. And just looking at these numbers, it makes a little bit of sense. Mark, I know you got other products up. How accurate do you think this is, that the 3 and the 6 are kind of the pace in this race?
I think the 3 and the 6 are probably the pace in this race. I think you got it, right spot on. I landed on I think the 1 has some pace in there as well, but I just don't think the 1 is going to really, the 1 didn't blow me away. The other horse that you haven't touched on yet that I thought was a little bit interesting, what did you think of this 8?
the 8 Pikachu. I believe that horse has won here.
That horse has won a lot here.
Yeah,
That horse
going back
likes to
to
win here.
last year. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you look at his running line too, he didn't his first time out, at least as far as this goes. You know, he didn't really do that well. You know, but seemed to improve off that and had some nice efforts here at
You get the
Turfway
same
coming.
setup going into this year as well. Ran once here in December, didn't run that well. You would expect that gets a ton of class relief hopping into this spot. 12-1, I think, is a pipe dream. But I thought Pikachu, in here in that race, was kind of a little interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. And then, like I said, now I just kind of take a quick. Oh, let me mute. Sorry, Caitlin, gotta mute you.
Don't mute poor Caitlin.
Let me just kind of scroll through real quick, and I'm just kind of looking at this real quick. The 4 kind of looks a little interesting
Hey,
as
Jared,
well.
we're taking a look at race 9, not the next race. So
based off of the recent form, the 7's a little interesting as well. I think there's a couple horses that you could go with here. So basically, what I do is I just kind of mark these horses down, and I give them a quick grade.
It looks like Jared's asking about Hawk of War. That's my Rocco horse that I was talking right before.
Oh, race 9. Yeah, so he was talking.
Yeah,
about,
okay.
yeah.
He was talking about this for. Yeah, I didn't know what to do with that horse. It's just one of those things. Like, it's Joe Rocco on synth. Like, he's not the jock you want, but I mean, he does win occasionally. And I guess we shouldn't handicap jocks, but I guess my big thing with that horse was 2 for 13 lifetime. The one try over synthetic was was a second place effort, but figures didn't come back huge. Getting a bunch of class relief. Yeah, it's Maker, but Maker I don't think is probably sending his best crop to Turfway in the middle of February. So the horse is probably usable. Horse probably bites me in the ass, but just not the most interesting. I thought there were other mid prices that were more interesting.
I don't know. This kind of looks like one of those lone A situations where I use a bunch of stuff underneath. But I think I might end up just singling the 6. Reason being is it like I'm looking at all these other horses that are kind of come in here with decent form. Well, maybe the 11 too. But the other horses coming in here with decent form for the most part. Corrales was up aboard on them last time, and he ends up on the 6. I think Corrales Ravelli is like 50% right now at Turfway. So
it's only 44%, Josh. Only 44.
Yeah, unlike his GP horses, it seems like these horses run a little bit better. But yeah, here's Charles talking about the pick 5 carryover, moving into this pool now, race 6. And I did see, I saw Charles was hanging out with some of us in the Horse Racing Nation stuff before. So Charles is he's a true trooper here. So Jay's got a Turfway pick 5 already. He's already got this capped. So 1, 4, 5, 9,
you went
2,
4
8.
deep and didn't use the 6 in the first leg, Jay. Really?
Yeah, Jay's firing. We'll come back to that.
I'll let Jay fire.
Mark, I think you got your ticket up and you sent me a picture, so now I gotta type this out manually.
I'm sorry. Did you want me to type it out for you, Josh?
No, I got it. Okay. But anyways, that was just like I just wanted to toss it out there. I might clip this out and post it. I just kind of marked a couple horses like this. In my mind, this is what I consider, hey, capping the race. I come back to it later when I'm actually structuring my tickets, but that's just kind of my first pass. I get through it, get in there and get dirty. But we're going to start here in race 6. Mark, why don't you talk about race 6 here, the first leg, and what you got going on here while I type out your ticket.
Yeah. Again, I didn't want to play a big sequence. Turfway can be a track that it befuddles me quite a bit. It's a really challenging track to play, but so I wanted to keep it skinny, and I thought this was one of the legs in the sequence that I wanted to be pretty aggressive at. And I'm going to start off with a single to the 4. They keep on coming. Ravelli, I think Josh already mentioned this. Corrales Ravelli is 44% on the meet. Horse one last out at this level with Corrales up. Should get a real similar type of trip this time out, I would think. Should be able to be forwardly placed, inside trip. And that's sort of the trip that's been working tonight. And it looked like Corrales might have had some other options in here. So he stays with the Ravelli. Ravelli's 50% on the meet. So he stays with the hot hand. And I thought in a sequence where I felt like I needed to be a little singled, I thought the 4 just made a ton of sense from. I know Josh can probably talk a little bit more to the pace dynamics in here, but this is the EP type. I don't think there's any lone E's in here, and Optics really thought highly of the. I think our Optics really like this 4 as well. Of the sort of early presser types, it's the one that should be able to hold on late. So trusting Corrales to get a decent trip, and maybe he can stop stinking up the place like he has so far tonight.
Caleb, I know you basically handicapped this in the time it takes most people to go number 2 in the bathroom. But I do see you went 4 wide here. You got the 1, the 4, the 6, and the 9. I don't know if you want to talk about one of the other horses in here, or I guess why you weren't as confident with singling the 4 here like Mark was.
I mean, so my big kind of question with the 4 is just the pace of the race. I know he doesn't need the lead necessarily, but he always wants to be within a length, give or take, of the pace. And I thought this pace looked kind of quick. I mean, to me, it looks like the 2 wants to go to the front, the 3 has some cheap speed, the 4 is another one who wants to be involved. The 5 probably shows speed on the stretch out. The 7 is another horse that has some speed. So I thought it could be a fairly contested pace. I mean, even the 11 all the way on the far outside. Has some races where he showed speed against cheaper. So in a big field where I think the pace will be contentious, I do think the 4 is the horse to beat here, but I wanted a horse that comes off the pace a little bit more. And the 1A is kind of the horse that I ended up sort of settling in on here. He made that start last time on synthetic, the first time he's tried the surface in a little while. And it looks like he just totally blew the break. He came out last by 14 lengths. The pace was on the more moderate side that day, and I thought he put in a good rally to still go from last by 15 lengths to actually get up for third. He was 2.5 lengths clear of the 4th place horse that day, and I think he gets a much better pace to run at here. I also think that the outside draw, I mean, historically that's been good at Turfway. I know it's played a little bit differently this year, but to me, give me the outside closer in a race with a lot of speed. I'll take the 1A with the best name in the race, Too Fat to Fish.
Yeah, I also didn't single here. I haven't put my bet in just quite yet. But I did like the 4 here. I thought that the couple of races I've watched tonight, it looks like speed has been holding a little bit better than it has other nights. I kind of agree with you, Caleb. I think there is quite a bit of speed here. If we go down here to the pace dynamic or the race summary here, you get a lot of these 8s here. You get a 6, you get another 8. So you got horses that are going to want to be pretty close to the lead here. So I think it's going to be a healthy pace. The other 2 horses I used in this spot, I did use a little bit of the 9, and that was kind of looking at this late pace figure here. I think that even though this horse does have this nice number here, the EP6. Kind of looking at his other races, he's going to be sitting 4th. He's going to be sitting 5th. Some of these other races with slow paces, yeah, he'll get up to the front if he needs to. But if they go real fast early, like is seen back here in June at AP, he'll sit 3.5 lengths off and he'll close in nicely here. So I thought the 9 here was interesting. I also used a bit of the 7, and I think this was just kind of once again more of a, hey, if speed is good, if speed's going to hold, this is just another one of those horses that's going to be part of the pace dynamic. You're going to get a decent price here. You're going to get 8-1. Rogelio Miranda is usually a little bit better here at Turfway. He's having a bit of an off meet. Douglas Danner's not exactly been hot to start the meet, but in general, he's usually pretty good here on the all-weather. Miranda ran with this horse last time, second. This is his 3rd time out. third off the layoff, and you've constantly seen improvement. Seeing here, just looking at the running lines. So I thought the 7 made a little bit of sense here. I think the 4 is still my top pick, but you know, I'm going to use 2 other horses here because I am going to go. I do have a single in the third leg. I think that Caleb also has as well. So
I debated that same single, so I felt like that was a leg that I needed to go one deeper just because everybody's going to be single there. And by the way, Josh, your 7 horse, you're stealing Jared Bush's horses.
yeah, Jared's all over the 7, 7,
Jared
11,
is all
1. I
over
love
the
it,
Some
seven.
people
Jared.
just have no respect for other handicappers.
I love it, Jared.
So I mean, and not to, just because I love picking people's horses apart more than anything else. Moonlight Dancing the 7 is 1 for 8 at Turfway, 1 for 10 over synthetic, 3 for 22 lifetime. Last win was over turf in June at Belterra, which isn't known for its classy turf racing. I mean, the horse is kind of the definition of out of form. I mean, if you find value there, sure, but that would be a horse I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. You'd need to give me 30 to 1 on that horse to be even slightly interested.
Doesn't it sort of feel like this 4 horse should be like 8 to 5 in this revealed?
Yeah, it does.
Connections in the last race. I mean, at the same level, like something feels like 5 to 2 feels too
off.
good to be true here. Something feels funny to me.
Agreed. Same. It feels like this horse should be getting 2 to 1 now, but taking a little late money. But yeah, it feels like this horse should be 8 to 5, 7 to 5, something that I mean, yeah, I agree with you, Caleb. And it's always one of those things. You see that, and you see a horse that you feel like should be very short and doesn't take money, and you always kind of go, "Oh man, is there something I'm missing, or is there something up? Some they knew kind of money, or
Right."
All right, let me. I'm gonna type in my my other stuff. So trying to handicap and talk through a pick 5 in like 20 minutes is real tough. Mark, I don't know if there's any other like races that you kind of wanted us to spotlight here while before they load in.
In this sequence. No,
Yeah.
I think your race 8. I think you guys have. Well, I think race 8 and race 9 were the other 2 really likely singles. Probably you're looking to single both the 6s in both legs, race 8 and race 9. I think both of them were sort of super logical horses. And then maybe you spread other places. I thought race 7 was a bit of a spreadier race. So, but again, a race 9 was one of those races that felt like, okay, either you single or you're going to be 6 deep. So, it's a tough little sequence, and this track I always find tough to begin with. So, good luck to anybody playing this. That's obviously what you got, 77K. I'm assuming that's 77K in new money plus the 80K. So,
Yeah. That's a nice little pot.
That's a nice little pot. That's new money, I would imagine?
80,000 new money, 69,000 of the carry.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know how much new money is going to be able to get in with just a short turnaround time. I did post my ticket in here real quick with the 479. Yeah, Mark, you talked about the third leg here. I thought this third leg, race 8, I thought the 6 was a pretty. I thought it was a pretty big standout. I also think in race 9, the 6 isn't also a standout as well, and might be one of those types of horses that you single. It was kind of the one that we ran through real quick. I ultimately ended up using your 8 that you talked about a little bit, Pikachu, going back off that back form here. And like I said, that's me including, like, if I was playing a smaller horizontal, or if there was no carryover, I might be more akin to either deciding on the 6 or throwing it out. But in this case, I'm kind of like playing a caveman. I'm not going to A-B this structure. So I'm going to use 2 of my quote-unquote B horses here in my caveman, which is going to be this 8 horse and also the 11 horse Buy Me Candy. And this is just, a horse that's just like rounded into form nicely here. Had a little bit of a layoff, but, one off the layoff. So, I think this horse is dangerous here in this spot. Sitting outside, that outside post has got the closing run style that tends to work at Turfway. And I think that was an include here in this spot.
Those horses that have shown they like the Turfway surface are pretty much always good bets back. I think that's a very a good angle here, and I like your 11. I did single the 6 on my ticket. Just I think he is a standout in this field, but I like your 11, and I like the Pikachu horse as well, honestly.
All right, so Charles has got a pick 5 here. Charles likes the 4, the 4 5 with the 3 12 10 with the 6, the 6 7 11 with the 1 2 5 6. So he sees it pretty similar to the way I
Pretty
do.
similar to
So
how we're all seeing it. Yeah.
yeah.
He's playing around with. I thought there were 3 potential singles, and if you're the kind of person that when you play a sequence like this that needs a single, we're all kind of choosing between the same couple.
PDT here, friend of the site, 5 with 2 3 4 with 6 with 3 4 6 8 9 10 11 with 2 3 5. So yeah, he's really spreading in that fourth leg, which I think does have a little room for chaos. Going back to Jay's ticket, he's 1 4 5 9 with 2 8 10 12 with 6 with 3 6 with 1 6 12. I don't know if Jared tossed out a bunch of horses. I don't know if he actually put a ticket out, but he likes a couple things here.
I'm real close with Jay. Jay and my ticket are very similar. I double singled instead of used the 3 in that fourth leg, but otherwise we're very close.
Yep. I know Jared was all over the 7 here.
Late scratch is a 3. That does take a little bit of the pace out here. Probably makes the 4, a little easier.
The 4 up. Yep.
Yeah, I would think so. Probably also moves up a horse like the 2 and maybe the 7 as well. Well, 2 scratched. Shoot. Yeah, so there's not near as much pace in here as I initially thought. So I'm sticking with my 1A just because historically, I think closers and 2-turn races at Turfways have always been good. But the 5 and the 7 definitely look strong here given the defections. I'm at the 4, sorry, the 4 and the 7.
All right, so they're off. They're out here. What do we got? That first turn's always weird. Looks like the 10 got to the lead. The 4 is sitting on the rail, just off.
Corrales did not want the lead. He could have made it very easily, and he decided that he wanted to rate. So
he had every chance. On the inside,
every chance, and he intentionally did not clear.
No, we're good. 25 and 2 though. He might be wishing he sent a little more.
Yep, that Moonlight Dancing, the 7 got out to the lead there. 11 sitting the length off. 5 is sitting a nice trip here. And then you got a break to the 9 and a bunch of others. This 5's making a little bit of a middle move, it looks like.
You like this 9, right, Josh?
Yes.
Yeah, I got to ticket too. He's sitting a good trip here if the pace comes back to him, but he's kind of under a drive already, it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, the 7's...
7 might be gone.
The 7 could be gone here.
Way too easy.
He's looking under his shoulder, which is universally a good thing all the time, right, Caleb?
Yep, they never lose. They look on the shoulder.
All right, now, yeah, he's riding the horse, so he's going to try and open him up and just put him to sleep here.
Well, I'm glad I shit-talked Jared Bush's horse right into the winner.
He's really running, I don't think. My 1A is a little bit on the
outside. Your 1A is trying, but there's not enough pace. I don't think he can get there. Yeah.
You see, like, this is interesting, though, right? Like, I was saying earlier, right, that speed has looked okay, but look at all the other horses, right? Like the leader went wire to wire basically, or it didn't go wire to wire, but I mean he took the lead pretty early. But look at where the other pace horses finished. So I don't know what to make of it. Was that 7 really just the best, or is it like if you're not in the lead and you're in that second pack, you're getting too much kickback, and like you either got to be on the lead or you got to be coming from off it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. There were a couple of really suspect rides in there. I don't know what Corrales was doing on that 4. And some of the other speed players just sort of didn't go. I mean, again, on paper, yeah, the 7 had a little more early speed than the 4, but yeah, I mean, I guess the 5 was involved. Okay, maybe it wasn't as wonky as I thought, but yeah, it was sort of weird. It's that horse to me is just a horse that I would never use ever.
Yeah, I mean, when I handicapped this, I didn't really take scratches because I did it in 15 seconds. But had I known the 2 and the 3 were both going to be out, maybe I can get to the 7 on a pace play. But before that, that's a hard one for me to have, I think. But yeah, I mean, had I known he'd be 4 clear turn for home, that changes the story.
Yeah, that was like one of the first horses I think Jared talked about. But
hey, Jared, how are you live? How are you live in the pick 5? It wasn't on the ticket you posted.
He said 5417.
He said 1459.
Yeah. The first thing he posted was no 2. He said he liked the 5, the 4, the 1, and the 7. And he said 7 at 11 to 1 he liked. The 7 took a little bit of late money. And then 10 to 1. Yeah, so
Okay.
he was interested in the 7. I don't know if he made his ticket, but
Maybe he made a win bet or something.
yeah. Oh, Charles is out.
Yeah, I think most people are out.
I mean, not everyone's out.
Oh, you had that 7 on your ticket? God damn you! Damn you, Josh!
Oh man. So, and I did mention to our Discord friends that Mark talked Jared Bush's 7 into the winner's circle. They will all be sending you Venmo requests.
Actually, Rogar 7 took a ton of late money. That horse was 14 to 1 with about 2 minutes to post. And I think with those couple of late scratches that they had there, people thinking that 7 could get to the lead and maybe wire it on the front end. And the horse took a ton of late money. Basically got cut in half late.
Yeah.
I'm glad Turfway's back, though. I mean, even if I'm dead leg 1, it's nice to have evening tracks, especially in the winter. So I'm glad they're running again, and the weather's kind of worked out for them. So that's nice.
I'm getting booed on Discord. I posted it after first post.
You redboarding, Josh?
Wow, I was redboarding.
Well, I gave it out live.
He's redboarding a pitching skull. Can you believe this guy?
If you get a pick 5 home on Jared Bush's ticket, Josh,
you owe him a cut.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He'll give you his Venmo. You can Venmo him some cash.
That's all right. I'll donate to the next stream he's on with Papo.
Ah, sweet. That's good. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun race. It was interesting. Thank you guys for contributing to the pot. I'm sure I'll be out next leg. KP. Oh, these poor guys. Okay, Jared wants a check. We do Venmo around here. I don't know what a check. When was the last time you wrote a check? Mark, you've probably written a check in my guess is you probably wrote one last month.
I did not write. I don't think I wrote one last month, but yeah, I occasionally do have to write checks.
Caleb, do you know how to balance a checkbook?
I've never done that in my life.
Yeah. See.
I wrote a check 2 months ago though, because I, government buildings still operate on, 1980 kind of technology. So to get my water turned on for the house, I'd write a check.
I have one doctor I go to, and they do not accept any sort of plastic. Okay, can't pay with a credit card, can't Venmo them, anything else. So I have to actually cut them a check, which is the most archaic thing ever.
Checks, man. Okay.
Are we talking Turfway or are we talking?
Well, we can come back to Turfway here. Road Warrior saying according to Twitter, the Warlike Goddess robbery just happened. So that's going to be fun. I'm sure we could probably talk about that either this weekend.
Did they give it to Latruska?
Which award are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't even know what award they're talking about.
Philly and Mare, I would imagine.
In solidarity with Road Warrior, I haven't really followed the Eclipse Awards.
Yeah, we did our award stuff, and we tried to keep it a little bit loose and a little bit away from what they're doing. But yeah, I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, why don't we move over to Tampa? We got some time here. We maybe spend the next 15 minutes or so on this Tampa race, the Sam F. Davis race 10 on Saturday. Got some Derby points coming out. Caleb, are you going to be doing the HRN thing on this race?
Yeah, so Capone and I'll have a video on this race, breaking down the Sam F. Davis with some picks and long shots there. Probably will not be taking a stand on this race though, because I think the favorite is legitimate in this spot.
Wow, you do?
I absolutely do, yeah.
Really? I think you're nuts. But
you okay. Wait, what did you just say? I was laughing at Saratoga Mark also redboarding everybody.
I said I think the favorite's legitimate, Classic Causeway.
Okay.
Really?
So
The
Why is it
three?
such a big shock? I mean, I don't understand.
Okay. I mean, it's
I I guess my issue here is really the pace scenario, right? You have unpredictable Bay, the two is speed of your speed drawn inside, and you're gonna have Classic Causeway. And I don't know if Classic Causeway really can rate. So are they gonna go head to head with this two, which I think they probably do, and go stupid fast early? And I realize they do speed up Tampa very often on these sort of big days. But obviously, Unpredictable Bay has never been able to get the distance, and took them what 6 times or 7 times. Yeah, broke their maiden on their seventh start. But I think Classic Causeway, I don't know if that horse has really shown that he can stretch out. I mean, I guess you're hoping that he improves since November. His best bear fig was in his maiden at Saratoga. He's never really run back to that, and I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't seem like he's really wants to go that far or shown he does as of yet. I thought he was kind of fadeable in this place in this spot, and I sort of landed on some of the outside horses. Somebody like the 8, the 9, or the 10. Those were the three that I sort of ended up that I would try to use to get around him because I think he does take a ton of money. I think somebody like Shipshational, Howling Time, or Volcanic, all three of those have every right to improve off some previous starts. You have the horses that actually have wins at this distance amongst those three, and horses seem to be rounding into form where I don't really know if Classic Causeway actually is. He seems like he kind of hasn't improved off his maiden score at Saratoga, where he was uncontested and destroyed everybody on Labor Day weekend.
So, Caleb, I got a question for you. Since I know you and I use similar products, we look at Briz. What do you make of Briz just absolutely loving Ship Sational's last 2 races?
I don't consider that horse for a second, actually. New York bred races, especially the last one in the slop, we all know Briz numbers are inflated over off tracks. So the Sleepy Hollows, to me, a really dressed up figure. And the race before that, I mean, again, it's state bred company of New York bred 2-year-olds. I mean, the sample size that they're using to play make the variant for that can't be large. And to me, I mean, there's going to be a lot of lightly raced horses in there. So I'm not really interested in that horse at all. Going from state bred company into a grade 3 against open company and trying 2 turns for the first time. But yeah, I mean, if you believe the Briz figs, the last 2 fit, I just don't believe those figures. And I think on time form, he is significantly slower. Well, his 2 back fig on time form is actually pretty quick, but the rest of them are all pretty bad. So 1 good fig and 3 bad. I'll take probably believe the 3 bad over the 1 good.
Yeah. So there was a horse in this race that I really liked. I can't argue with the favorite, the 3. I mean, the horse broke its maiden at Saratoga, ran through 2 nice races, and only lost against only lost to some pretty good 2-year-olds, at least at that time. In Round Roll, Double Thunder, Smile Happy. So I don't think a 3's really done anything wrong. I kind of agree with Mark. I'm a little concerned with the pace scenario for the horse. I mean, the horse could just be much the best, right? Gets out there and sits, 3rd or 4th in a big field, and just runs home. Against my better judgment, I know I pretty much on a weekly basis trash talk Mark Cassie, but I'm very interested in his 5-horse God of Love. And mostly the reason being is that this horse has passed horses in basically every one of his starts. I know his maiden wasn't exactly impressive, but once he started routing, I mean, he's been coming from way back, and I think if you are going to have a really really hot pace, I think the 5 God of Love is definitely one you're going to have to at least consider for exotics, if not consider to actually win here. So I think God of Love is going to be something that I'm going to key around. I really haven't taken too close of a look at this race, but at least looking at the pace scenario, I think the 5 God of Love is definitely a horse that you have to consider in this spot. I think you're going to get a nice price too. I mean, it's 10-1. in the book. I think you might get better than that because people are going to see that this is a synth horse and a turf horse. People are going to see Rafael Hernandez, who is not familiar to a lot of people who don't follow Woodbine. And I think you're going to get a nice price here, and I think you got the right run style, and I think you got the right breeding as well. I mean, Cupid and Tappet. I mean, that's your distance pedigree. I think you're. I think this horse will take to the dirt nicely.
Yeah, I get what you guys are definitely saying about the pace scenario. I mean, it looks to be pretty quick. I guess my thinking is I just don't think the three needs the lead. I thought that he showed that he could rate last time, where he sat a couple lengths off the pace. He sort of sat mid pack. He made a middle move to pretty much grab the lead, turn him for home, but just sat a little bit too close to a pace that, despite the fact time form has it coded blue for slower fractions, that race completely fell apart. And all the speeds finished way up the track, and that race was really dominated by off the pace runners. So I think he just probably moved a little early there, but did show that he can rate. You get the services of Irad Ortiz, who is not the most aggressive front riding jockey. So I'd be surprised if this horse gets engaged in a pace battle with a couple of horses that are really just quite a bit cheaper and honestly quicker than he is. I don't think he wants to be on the lead. I think he sits about third or fourth and lets a horse like the one or the two all kind of go in front of him. I just think he's the best horse in this race. That Kentucky Jockey Club was an extremely productive race so far. The third place horse, White Barrio, just came back to win the Holy Bull last weekend. And a horse that finished about seventh in that Kentucky Jockey Club, Call Me Midnight, was a long shot winner of the Lecomte Stakes at Fairgrounds, where he made a big closing move to beat a couple of nice horses like Papa Cap and Epicenter. So I think that Classic Causeway really is coming out of the best races, where if you have a lot of these other horses that are coming out of maidens or New York bred races or switching surfaces. And if you get the right price, I guess I wouldn't knock you for going there, but I think that trying too hard to beat Classic Causeway is probably trying to get a little too cute.
Let me go ahead and take a look at chat real quick. Charles Blaha is saying, got to watch the Brisnet average pace numbers at the bottom. Never trust speed figures. Always inflated. Best Bris Fig is average class rating for accuracy. I will say that Caleb has yelled at me and said that sometimes all I do is handicap based off the race summary. So you're not the first person to tell me that.
Wait, sometimes? Only sometimes.
Hey, it's been working the past couple weeks. The hot streak is not continued into this week, but last week it was still rolling full force. Murphy in the chat here, he says that God of War for me in the Sammy Davis. God of Love, sorry. God of War is the latest game in Caleb's Steam library. Road Warrior says he likes the 8 and the 9. Both trainers bad off layoffs, but he kind of hates this field. So he's seeing it similar to you, Mark, which is not a surprise, seeing as you both live in New York. PDT saying that the 5 was pointing to the withers, but didn't draw in. Surprisingly, I think the horse didn't draw into the withers because he knew that no actual Derby horses ever come out of that race. Road Warrior does like the 5 as well. He says it's another one he took a look at, decent price. And Murphy also says he doesn't hate Kitten's Mischief. Where is?
So he's taking Kitten Joys on the turf or on the dirt. Greg, you feeling all right, buddy?
If it rains, it's fine.
I mean, if it's a bog, sure.
Broke its maiden.
Thrown out. A horse that no one mentioned that I thought was interesting was this 11. That's probably the only other horse I liked in this field besides the 3. And I did give a look to actually both the Mark Cass horses, but he's a tough trainer for me to bet. But this 11 strike hard. I mean, if you look at 2 of his last 3 races, he's got a win in the middle, and then he lost a Simplification, who was probably much the best in that Fountain of Youth, given the way he blew the start and stumbled out of the gate and actually closed to get up for a pretty fast coming second place. And then 3 back, he was second to White Barrio, who actually won the Holy Bull. So this is another horse that does need to work out a trip here from the outside post and does need to prove it outside of Gulfstream. But I thought that horse looked interesting and probably get overlooked given the connections.
So Jared Bush says he really likes the 8 here. Was that was another horse that was a horse that you liked, right? Ship Sational.
Yeah.
I've only had one
Yep.
bourbon, but apparently my pronunciation has gone the way of Capitan. Um,
Ouch. That hurts, Josh. We're in the
Take it easy
feelings.
on Mike.
You've been waiting to drop that one, haven't you?
I have. I'm waiting for the moment.
No, I mean, I guess, I mean, you can beat up on the New York Breds all you want, Caleb. I realize that, they're not as good as Kentucky Breds. I'm not going to try to make that argument. I just think that horse is, 3 for 4 lifetime, should stretch out fine. And Time Form really liked both those last 2 races. But they also really liked the last race out of Volcanic. So I thought that horse was interesting as well. I guess my thing is, I think if you take the 8, the 9, and the 10, you have a higher chance of winning than taking your 3. I guess that's sort of how I'm approaching this race. And I think your 3 probably takes quite a bit of money. I actually think you probably get more like 2-1 on your 3.
I think you're right. I think the 3 does take money. And I don't hate Howling or Volcanic. I think that's a horse off that layoff. I mean, could he run? Maybe. I don't think. Yeah, I love him, but he's probably the 3rd most likely Mark Cass horse in this field. But Ship Stational, I just can't get to. I mean, he has 1 figure that fits and 3 that don't. And the one that fits, the 2nd place horse came back to win and still regressed 10 points. To me, that says that's a bad figure, and he just has never run fast enough to win. But we'll see.
so funny. Apparently, Kitten Mischief is Kitten's Joy on the bottom. It's Into Mischief on the top. So I just assumed it was a Kitten's Joy horse. Murphy says
As did I. I didn't even
just because
even
Kitten Joy isn't. Look at let the record show that Murphy says just because Kitten's Joy is in the bloodline doesn't mean the horse can't run on dirt. This is coming from literally like the most like what's the word I'm looking for? Like
obtuse. I think obtuse is the word you're looking for.
I mean, the man, if he sees a horse ends in "eni," if I are anywhere in the horse, he will not bet on the turf.
Or Union Rags.
Absolutely not.
Forget Union Rags.
Yeah. The horse has got GS anywhere. He's like, nope, not betting it. Too close to Union Rags. But Kitten's Joy in the dirt, sure. Let's go. Charles Blaha's also a little bit on the 8. He's not sold on the pace, but he thinks that the horse is going to quit on the stretch. I just thought it was interesting that Briz had those races rated so highly. Like Briz tends to inflate route races and like marathon races. So it was just interesting to me that the 7 furlong and 1 mile race were so competitive. But maybe this is a Mr. Buff situation where the numbers look good, but as soon as he steps in open company, the numbers don't seem to match up. I waited till Mark left so I could make fun of Mr. Buff.
Yeah, you did. You had to, didn't you?
Oh, look at it.
Caleb's eating chalk, so I had to get some bourbon.
Yeah, really.
Dude, the first thing Mark said when he got online is like, "Hey guys, I'm not gonna have bourbon," and all it takes is Caleb taking the chalk, and he's gonna go get a pour.
Caleb taking the chalk in the race that screams to not take the chalk.
Well,
I was really expecting going to that race. That would be the Caleb, article of the week about how this is a bad favorite.
No, I think he's very legitimate, honestly. There's other horses that could win, but they could win on their own merits rather than me not liking Classic Causeway.
Yeah.
So, Mark, let's take a look at Turfway real quick. We got 6 minutes to race 7. My ticket is still live. What did you have here again, Mark? Let me pull up your ticket here.
I ended up playing back a pick 3, and I went 2, 3, 8, and 10 here.
You went 2, 3, 8, and 10.
Yep.
Caleb's.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. And Caleb's ticket. Yeah, Caleb's ticket had 3, 9, 10, 11 here. So I'm pretty similar. Well, I have a couple of horses in common with you guys. I'm actually on the 10, the 11, and the 12 in this spot. So I took the 3 outside horses. Outside has been playing a little bit better. Looking at the pace scenario, I thought The 11 was kind of like your lone E horse here. Looked to be have the most gate speed. So if we're going to have another wire job, I thought the 11 made a lot of sense here for that. I think the 12 is probably your most likely winner here, Jolting Joe. You get Rafael Bejarano aboard, and it seems like this horse, coming off the layoff, threw a little bit of a clunker first time, Turfway, but bounced back with a nice little effort here. And claiming 18 is coming down in class, which I know doesn't matter. But I think this 86 here, according to Briz Parr, would be very competitive in this spot. So I thought the 12 on a speed figure and a pace, pace coming from with nice pace figures here, coming from off the pace and being posted outside. I thought the 12 made a lot of sense here. And then I tossed in the 10, basically based off the same type of reasoning I used on the 12. The only difference is that this horse just hasn't, didn't finish all that great last out, and you finished kind of more of a blanket finish, 2.5 lengths off, but sixth. But has finished closer here at Turfway, and even ran an okay-ish race at Gulfstream here in the synthetic. So I think this horse has been close, and this horse, once again, is also coming down, dropping in class. So I thought the 10 and the 12, the class droppers, were interesting here, and I thought the 11 was kind of your front-end pace situation. Jared here, he likes the 7 in race 7. I believe he also likes the 4. And I think he's got an exacta box with the 2, 4, 8, 10, 12. Jared, you gotta tell me which one of these you're betting. They look a little different there, but
that's quite the Mario ticket.
Jay's gonna run back his pick 4 here.
I don't blame him in doing that. I'm actually debating running back my pick 4 because there's judging by the pick 4 pool size, there's a lot of people that got knocked out first leg.
I ran back to pick 4 for cheap, and finally I'll run back to pick 3.
I levered up a pick 3 here, so I cranked up the base bet.
Charles asking about the average class here in this race. It looks like they like Maligator, who is 2.
Yeah.
Pretty
Inclusive
flat race,
10.
really.
Yeah.
It really is.
Looks like if you're going off the class, it's like 2, 7, 10, 12. But
yeah,
I mean,
10.
They're right there.
Yeah, 10's getting a little relief, but I mean, I really think this 10 is quite overbet given.
I much prefer the 12.
I just thought this race was a lot more flat than the board really is implying it. I mean, the board is basically saying this is a 2-horse race. This is between the 10 and the 12.
Yeah, I'm curious if there was maybe some kind of trouble or something last out in the race the 10 and 12 are both coming out of. Because intuitively, you look at the records and the connections, and you wouldn't expect the 10 to be a shorter price than the 12. I mean, maybe those odds will change up come post time. But if you gave me both of them at even money and I just had to pick one, I think I would go for the 12. I have the 10 in my pick 4, thinking I was getting creative at 8-1, but maybe not.
Yeah, I mean that's the same thing too. I thought the 10 was kind of like a value add at a nice price here.
That was my ticket as well. I thought I was going to get 6-1 on the horse or something, not 9-5.
Yeah, I probably with Josh on this 11 here though. I mean, he looks like he might be speed of speed, and if speed is holding, we just saw it hold last time, with some pretty soft fractions, but still, the 11 here because the kind of the horse that interests me among a few others. But he looks like a use here, and you're getting a pretty square price at 8-1.
Yeah, and he's getting a cut back to a distance he seems to be better at. The best race he's run recently was that 1:70 at Indiana Grand that he won. And it looks like that they tried to stretch him out a little. And he just doesn't quite want to go that extra 16th. So, maybe a little cut back helps him.
I mean, it's fair. He might just be a dirt horse. I mean, he hasn't done much over the synthetic or the turf, but he should have a base advantage here. At 8-1, I'll play ball.
Yeah, taking a look here, I think I updated your guys' tickets. So Mark is running back a pick 3 here. Is this what you're running back, Mark?
Yep, that's it. You got it.
Yep. All right, so he's running back a pick 3. So we had Mark Capitan, we had Mike Capitan, and you know who we got today, Caleb?
Who we got today?
We got Mario Capitan
Mario
with the
Capitan.
4x2x2 pick 3 here.
Yeah, well played.
And then Caleb, I just assume you're running back the same pick 4 because you're smarter than I am.
Yes.
So I think I've told the story before. There was a pick 5 I played at Santa Anita, and it was real similar to how things are going now, with like 6 and 7 horse fields every leg, and I got busted out leg 1, and so I ran back to pick 4, but I changed one leg, and that one leg I changed, I got boomed, and of course the horse I left off would have won, and I didn't think anything of it because I'm like, hey, it's going to be a small pick 4, small fields. It ended up paying like $2,000. So it was a painful lesson to learn that if you are going to run it back, like you should probably run it back as you handicapped it and bet it. But taking a look here at chat, Lloyd Green saying a lot of money on the 10 for an 8-1 morning line. I think he says place money. So I haven't seen. Let's take a look here at the pools.
Isn't the 2 horse here kind of the horse that looks maybe a little bit forgotten on the board compared to the rest of these?
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, I don't like to go inside in these mile races, so especially horses that don't have speed. But yeah, it's 6-1. That's a good price.
Oh, that is interesting. That was a good call there by Lloyd. I'm taking a look at the place pools, and the place pool on this 10, the 10's got $3,600 on it. The current favorite, the 12, has got $1,300 in the place pool, which is just weird. Someone just maybe someone placed a huge place bet on this 10.
Yeah, you can always kind of these small tracks with small pools. A little bit of money moves the needle a long way. So it is, the odds don't always work out to what they should be.
Andres in here, he says he likes the 7 in this race. He'll take him at that price, 36-1. Your 7 horse is subdued for Santiago Gonzalez, who's not having a great meet. He's only at 7%, and Santiago Gonzalez generally, I want to say he's normally around like 14-15% at Turfway. So I don't know if he's just not getting good mounts or what. Maybe he just felt the wrath of Corrales to start the meet, but Santiago Gonzalez definitely knows how to ride at this track. So I think better times ahead for Santiago. Charles, look at Charles. He cashed the pick 4 at Sam Houston, so it's nice for him. Congrats. He was like I said, Charles was in the chat for the HRN stream. I had one winner on the stream, which was nice.
Were you on the stream?
I was not on the stream. I was in chat this week. I jumped on with Ed, I think, to start off when we were doing. It was Turfway. It was a Turfway night before one of our live streams, but. Looks like they're off here. And, this 11 looks like he cleared pretty easy. Yeah.
What's it look like?
Let's see, who's that moving? Someone's moving up pretty early.
4.
Is that the 4 on the outside?
Yeah, it's 4.
So where's this 10? Where's this 10 and the 12 at?
They must be way back.
I don't see them anywhere. Did they leave the gate?
But half the field's missing, it looks like.
Maybe it's just hidden.
No, just all the horses I bet are missing.
Maybe they're so far in front.
Oh, there's the 12. The 12 is hidden behind the 3.
That's logic, yeah.
Pace is about a length and change quicker than last race, but pretty uncontested still. I don't think it's a dramatically different level of racing.
I'll tell you, was it Andres? Andres, the 7 is getting a little bit of a. He's gonna get a little root here on the 7.
I think the 11 still looks tough. The 3's got some run. So is the 12. Not the 12. Who's other gray horse?
I think the 3 is too far out. I don't think they can get there. It is a long front stretch, maybe. Well, I'll take all this 3 if he can get there.
Yeah, I'll take the 3 or the 11, but not the 7.
Get there! Come on, you're trying. Oh, maybe this really outside horse.
Who's the really outside horse? The 1?
Oh God, is that 7 gonna get there?
7.
No.
Oh boy.
7-11.
Oh boy. And Road Warrior says there was a giant price drop on that 7 too.
He was 36 to 1 in the gate. What do you end up going off?
22 to 1. I mean, that's not as big of a price drop as you would think, but it looked like 7 to me.
Not Trifecta is going to pay boxcars. 7, 11, or say 7, 11, 6. I mean, I'm pretty sure the 7 got up. Is there any chance the 11 got there?
It was pretty close, Caleb, but I don't know how on the wire this camera is.
The Turfway angle is always wonky, but in real time, I thought the 7 had a nose in front.
Okay, so it's a bit in front of the wire. So yeah, 7 should be the 7.
I mean, I want the 11, but I think it was the 7.
I also want the 11, but I think it was the 7. Mark is indifferent to either the 7 or the 11.
Yeah, completely indifferent.
Well, for Andres' sake, I hope that was the 7 because that's a nice price, 22 to 1.
That is a nice price.
Yeah, chat seems to think it's the 7. Andres Guerrero says that Sal Guerrero is his dad. Look at that.
Yeah, nice pick.
Yeah.
Dude, very nice pick. Very, very nice pick.
Yep, there it is, a 7. San Diego
So we're
Gonzalez.
gonna get a double carry?
I doubt it. Well, maybe. Let's see
mean,
what.
Wouldn't surprise me with 2 big long shot winners.
No.
It's not like there's a ton of new money in the pool because of how quick it was to carry, from the early to the late.
Yeah. Still seems really outside bias though. I mean, most of the winners are outer half of the track.
I mean,
yeah, Charles is probably right. You get one more bomb, and this gets real fun into tomorrow.
Definitely seems like speed is better than average as well. It's 2 races where pretty much nobody made up ground.
It seems like outside drawn speed has been real good.
We need a bettor's objection here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, good for you, Andres, man. That was a nice little hit. It's gonna be a nice 22 to 1, man. Like you hit one of those, and that should make your day. So I mean, assuming you bet it correctly, I say it should make your day because I believe I've definitely found ways for that 22 to 1 not to make my day.
I was saying I've hit a 22 to 1 and had it ruin my day. So
Well, I think that was the only horse that Andres even talked about too. I mean, good for him. Like he gave out 6 horses and had one of them be right. I mean, that was just the one horse he mentioned, and he was right at 22 to 1. It's a nice pick.
Yeah. No, good for him, man. Nice pick, very nice pick.
Apparently, that's his dad, the trainer.
Yep, Sal Guerrero.
Is it really his dad? That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Well, shit. You got any more horses running?
Seriously, man.
That's good. It looks like, at least on Brisnet, it looks like Sal's first win on the meet too. So that's good. Good for him.
Yeah, no, good for looks like Sal's first win. And Sal's not a big, first first off the barn switch kind of guy. So good for him for getting that put together.
Let's why don't we take a look at some of these Oaklawn races here? Let's move on over here to race 8 on Saturday's card, the Bayakoa. Mark, I realized I was supposed to start with you last race.
Oh, you were?
Apparently, I just remembered. I wrote out those notes. But with Brian's absence, stuff kind of got thrown
we had a
little
monkey
bit.
wrench get thrown in there. So we're talking Bayakoa, huh?
Yeah.
I had a brutally hard time with this race. This race is crazy competitive. This is just a really cool race. And I think if you're just a fan of the sport and you want to see, watch a really cool race, this is a neat race. I ended up landing here on the 6 Queen Goddess horse that, got first time on dirt last time out at Santa Anita on a race that, albeit was rained off, but did have a pretty competitive field. That it wasn't like it was scratched out of 3 horses or something crazy. But came off the turf, and she ran her basically a career top. She ran huge. I think she's one of the sort of fresher faces, and she is a fairly interesting horse in the spot. But I think you could make a case for about 5 or 6 others in here. You got horses. Well, I'll let you guys talk about them, but I think for me, Queen Goddess is is the top horse for me. But I'm really interested in seeing how you guys approach this race, because I just had a brutally hard time with this, really narrowing it down beyond being 5 wide here.
Caleb, what do you got?
Yeah, so I agree and also disagree with Mark. So I agree in the sense this is a hard race. There's some races where I look at the field and I'm like, oh, I like all these horses. But this is more the kind of race where I look at the field and it almost like reminds me of the turf marathon division, because if you look, these horses just take turns winning. I mean, Miss Bigley gets a couple of wins. Coach gets a couple of wins. Jilted Bride sneaks in and gets her turn. I mean, Matera has been beaten by a few of these. So it's like it's tough for me to find the horse that I really want to latch onto in this field. I will say that I hate Mark's pick of the 6.
Cool, nice.
Yeah, I mean, Queen Goddess. I mean, sure. I mean, she beat a Grade 1 field that was washed off the turf going to marathon distance. Like, is there anything more abnormal in racing? Like, I'm not sure. If an earthquake opened up and swallowed half the field, but the time form fig came back fast, Mark would still bet it. So I just don't believe anything about the 6. Won't be on any of my tickets. I mean, Jock doesn't travel. There's just nothing here interests me. If I had to pick one horse in this field, it might actually be, well, I picked 2. The 2 and the 7, I really couldn't separate. The 7's probably the horse to beat, Coach. Horse seems to have figured something out after getting freshened up over the summer of her 3-year-old season. She's come back as a 4-year-old now and rattled off 2 pretty dominant wins, stalking and sitting just off the pace. She's always been more of a closer off the pace runner, so this new dimension has seemed to really set the light bulb off in her head. And I really think she's just coming into this field in the best form, having pretty handily beaten a few of today's foes before. The other horse I kind of liked here was the 2, and that's really more of a pace play than anything else. I think this is probably the horse that gets the lead in this race. There's a lot of horses that maybe go to the lead here or could go to the lead here. I mean, the 5 might be the threat, but I think that she's taken advantage of a lot of slow paces where she didn't get challenged at all. And I kind of think Miss Bigley runs her best races when she's forwardly placed. I mean, if you look at her wins, she's always been on the pace or a length or half a length back. The race 2 back at Churchill, I mean, obligatory close from the clouds. That race totally fell apart. And then last time out, she just couldn't hold off Coach, who I do prefer in this spot, but was nonetheless about 2 lengths close to 3rd place horse, WW Fitzy, who came back to win. So I think Miss Bigley is a horse that probably gets overlooked because she was beaten by a couple of today's horses in her last 2 starts. But I thought that she makes some sense here.
Do we know what the weather looks like in Hot Springs on Saturday, considering you picked the 2 horses that only win when it's sloppy?
You mean the horse that's 4 for 9 over a fast track, but only wins when it's sloppy?
Well, okay. I'll give you Miss Bigley, but I mean, isn't Coach sort of a slop specialist? Isn't that kind of her thing?
I mean, I'll give you that those last 2 races could have been moved up in the slop, absolutely. At 5-2, if you think that's the case, then I think you play against. I'm more inclined to think that the class relief, I mean, you're not in Kentucky Oaks anymore, plus the time off, maybe she matured as a 4-year-old. But I get that take.
I think that if this was a turf race and it got washed off, that I'd like the 6 a little bit more. But no, I kind of agree with you, Caleb. I think Coach is going to be tough to beat in this spot. I guess Coach is kind of my top pick in this spot as like most likely winner. Not to like keep talking about the same horses that you guys have already talked about, but I did want to highlight one horse that did interest me a little bit. That's going to be the 4 Jilted Bride here. Now, you hate to see the kind of regression pattern that you've kind of seen with this horse with the slower and slower speed figures. But you get, probably the best. Well, I mean, definitely the best jockey on the OP grounds currently, but. Just one of the best off the pace riders here in Joel Rosario. This is much deeper waters than what this horse has been facing, but is going to be kind of. I don't really want to say a new shooter because the horse has run in some of the similar races here, but it hasn't been in all the same races as the other ones that are kind of been beating up on each other. So I kind of do like Jilted Bride here a little bit. Especially just getting that huge jock upgrade. I mean, that's really the reason I'm looking at it here. And I think part of the reason why I'm looking at that is because I think this is a pretty flat race. And so when you get a flat race like this, sometimes I feel like you you got to look for the changes. You got to look for the the things that could move a horse up. And I think in this case, I mean, you're just getting an enormous jock upgrade. So I'm really interested to see what Rosario does with Jilted Bride. I don't think she's gonna be good enough to beat Coach in this spot, but I wouldn't be surprised if you get something like a Coach Jilted Bride exacta here, similarly to what you saw last race.
So no one talked Matera yet? I mean, I imagine somebody would be all about Matera. I mean,
She's
you're
a
getting that.
contender, but I mean, it's a flat race. I don't know that I would leave her completely out of a pick five, but I'm not. She'd be my third pick after the 2 and the 7, or the 7.
That's probably where I have her, is like a sort of third or fourth-ish pick. But I thought she was super interesting in here. She does, she's 1 for 1 across Oaklawn, and she's 2 for 3 at the distance. Seems like the kind of horse who's been improving, getting better, and gets a little bit of a freshening here. I thought she was super interesting. Has some tactical speed. Flo should have some choices with what he wants to do with her. She's one from on the pace or from just off from it, so she's going to be involved. But how aggressive he wants to be with her, he has a lot of choices, I would think. So I thought she was fairly interesting here. Just mainly, I want to touch on a horse that I think is a win candidate that we really hadn't talked about than anything else.
I mean, if you're looking at it from a class standpoint, which once again does not matter, I think Matera is kind of a bit of a standout, don't you think? When you look at the horses in her running lines.
I mean, I would argue the 7 is probably the class of the field, but the 1 is certainly a classy mare and run, right?
I mean, the 1 was running against the likes of, well, yeah, I mean, Coach was running against the best 3-year-olds last year, but you got Matera was running with She Dares the Devil, Crystal Ball, Obligatory, and I mean, She Dares the Devil and Obligatory would probably be very short in this spot.
That's fair.
Coach also has Malthat and Paulina's Pearl in there, so I mean, there's some quality all around the play.
Did Pauline's Pearl win her race last week?
She did.
She did? Okay. Yeah, I honestly I don't know. I really don't know what to make of that 3-year-old filly class from last year. Still, but I do know that there's definitely quality with She Dares the Devil and Obligatory. So like Matera is one of those horses that if for some reason she were to float up would be interesting, because I think that she does have something that the others don't, and that's really has some class in her background, but. Not to knock the likes of Malthot or Pauline's Pearl completely, but I think She Dares Devil and Obligatory just more known commodity, but I think the one is definitely in here with a shot. I prefer Coach a little bit, and I don't think that I'm gonna get the price I need on this one horse to really kind of take a stand with it. I'd rather take Coach at morning line odds in this. Charles Blaha in chat saying he didn't like the post. He said the rail doesn't seem like it's good. Doesn't like the post for the one horse. I pull up Brisnet stats. Brisnet says that the rail is good enough. It looks like 13%. I haven't watched much Oaklawn. I don't know, Caleb. You're the big Oaklawn apologist in the group, and
I
even
haven't
you
watched
haven't
it
been
this
playing.
year.
Yeah,
I kind of abandoned it for fairgrounds because Oaklawn's been kind of tricky to me lately, and they've been canceled for weather for the whole weekend last weekend, and they've had some other issues, so I haven't followed as much as I normally would.
Yeah, it's an interesting race though. Like I think Mark brought it up. Like these are this is a grade 3 ass grade 3. You know, those horses that like are just a cut below the best of the best. But I'll tell you what, this is going to be a very competitive race. I think it's going to be a fun race to watch. So it sounds like Caleb and I are on the 7 coach, and Mark likes the turf horse. Um, I feel like I've heard this before. Wasn't wasn't King Guillermo the turf horse?
Yes,
Yes.
that did happen. Wrong state though, so
Okay, well we'll give you.
I normally get yelled at when I'm betting dirt horses on turf, though. That's normally when I get myself in trouble, especially when they get a lot of speed and they ship from Mountaineer.
I mean, like I kind of agree with you though, Mark. Like, you know, it was still a fast track. It was going a longer distance than they were going today. Like, the figure came back really good. So, like, yeah, like if the figure is correct, like that horse is going to be hard to beat. It's just like
There's
is
a lot of ifs. I mean,
yeah.
obviously she had it her own way there. She probably was, she was able to control on a surface that she may have handled better than the rest of the field. I understand Caleb's critique totally that, when you have those races that come off, those figs sometimes are a little suspect because, okay, what was did it massively shape the pace dynamic? Did a horse be able to get it all its own way on the front end? All those sorts of things. Yeah, he's he can beat me up about it all he wants. It was more the fact of, Caleb was talking about, yeah, these horses all take turns beating each other. I wanted the newcomer. I wanted the fresh face, the horse I don't know versus this field. I'm probably not getting the price to take it, but that's what I'm doing. So I'll go with it.
By any chance, Mark, did you look at race 7 at Tampa Bay?
I did
Saturday?
not. No.
Do you want to pull it up real quick? Possibly look at number 2.
Oh, jeez, you're gonna make me cap a race quickly.
Let me just look at the 2 horse.
Tampa Bay. What race now? Race 7. Yeah. But it's I mean, what are they doing sprinting him? I mean,
King Guillermo returns to Tampa Bay Downs, scene of the crime, going 6 furlongs.
I mean, sure, but I think at this point they're just desperate with him to find what he really wants to do. And you're getting Baby Yoda in there, who, albeit you kind of got to squint to make. I don't know. Baby Yoda runs big figures, doesn't love to win as of late. So
that's actually really interesting. It's an interesting race. Just looking at it.
Boy, that is an interesting race. There's a bunch of interesting horses in there.
Yeah, if you don't like Baby Yoda, you might get a price there. So, but yeah, let's take a look at the Razorback here. Oh, actually, real quick, Charles explained his logic here. He says if you're on the rail there, you need to be on a plus horse, not plus. Doesn't work with speed, jumping in front, squeezing inside. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched enough Oaklawn to really understand kind of how inside versus outside's been playing. So can't really say that. But if Charles hit that pick 4 at Sam Houston, so who am I to argue with Charles on the intricacies of Oaklawn there, a B-level track such as Oaklawn. But yeah, the Razorback here, grade 3. Going a mile and 16th. We get the return of Superstock. Yeah, I guess he did run. He ran in, at Oaklawn, but you get Superstock here. You got Lone Rock cutting back even more. You get Rated R Superstar coming off that nice 5th season win, 25-1. Promise Keeper shipping in. Was won the Peter Pan last year, ran in the Ohio Derby, where all of us were on Masquerade and got 5-2 off like a 15-1 morning line or something stupid there.
Yeah.
You got Thomas Shelby. I mean, you got some interesting horses. You got Chase's favorite horse in training, Plainsman. I know Chase loves to bet Plainsman. But you got some real interesting horses in here, some interesting names. I thought the race kind of started and stopped with the 6 horse Thomas Shelby here. I thought he is going to be your pace in this race. He's an E7 here. Um, you know, did did get run down by Radar Superstar last out, finishing third by 3/4 of a length. But if we kind of just assume that that was an outlier, I mean, this horse just runs a lot of ones, and there's got a lot of ones in the finish column. So I think the race kind of starts and stops with this horse. 6-1 in the book. I don't think you're going to get that. I think you're going to get a little bit less. Local connections. You got M&M Racing, Diodoro, and Cohen. So I think this horse takes a little bit of money. But that's going to be my top pick in this race. I thought there were some other horses in here that deserve some attention, but I'll let you guys kind of go with it. Mark, how did you see this one?
Yeah, again, you're calling me first while I'm trying to look at Eclipse winners. Yeah. I agree with you on Thomas Shelby. The problem, there is just I don't know if he's quite as fast as some of these other horses in here. If he brings his A+ game, yeah, he's definitely a player here, and he does have a pace advantage. But I think he's just going to. I would love to see him wear it. I have kind of a soft spot for the horse. I think he's kind of a cool horse, but he's going to have to, have probably a career best or close to career best performance to be able to really be a player in here. And again, this is a race that I had a really hard time at. Again, it's a really, really, flat race. I thought, somebody like a Lone Rock made a lot of sense. I thought Promise Keeper made a lot of sense. And I also thought Plainsman made quite a bit of sense. And I don't really have one that I'm going to lean on the most there. I thought all three of them were equally usable, made a lot of sense. And I don't have any really strong opinions where I can say, oh, I love this horse and I hate these others. I just thought it was a real flat race. And I would look at other races in a sequence here to be skinny at and kind of be a little spready and just try to get the winner.
Yeah, so I see this race similar to you guys in the sense that I think it's really hard. I had 5 horses written down on my first pass, and you could probably convince me to go deeper. This is a hard race. I'll start with kind of the horse Josh talked about, Thomas Shelby, who I respect in here. Not my top pick because I just don't know if he's this good. He's got good figures and he has probably a pace advantage over this field, but he has been beaten in his last 2 against horses. I mean, maybe Lone Rock's a better horse than he is, but it feels like he really was supposed to beat Rated R Superstar in that last race. So he's not a horse I could really fall in love with. Lone Rock is obviously a huge threat to win this race. I didn't think he could cut back to 9 furlongs last time, and he did. So I'm not too worried about him cutting back an extra 16th here. But he's the most likely winner and a deserving favorite, but not a horse that I really want to. It's never a horse I've been able to trust to really build my day around. The horse I actually landed up on top is, believe it or not, the number 7, Last Samurai. So this is a horse that actually upset the Poinsettia Stakes last time out. And it wasn't a huge field. It maybe wasn't the strongest of fields. But he did beat Superstock, who's in this race, and is kind of a good benchmark for what a listed stakes fringe grade 3 horse should do. And he also beat Flash of Mischief, who is actually a very strong horse that does most of his work at Delta Downs, but nevertheless has some really good speed figures. And he did it while kind of going against the flow of the race. That was a slow pace last out, and he was able to actually sit about 4 lengths off that pace, make a move wide, and win going away. I thought visually that was an impressive race, and the way he did it kind of against the flow of the race was pretty nice. You can actually excuse some of his other efforts in his previous dirt tries. I mean, 2 back, he did have some pretty bad trouble, and the race is a lot better than it looks if you care to watch that replay. And then the race at Parks, I mean, he ran well. I mean, Magic Michael is just a better marathoner horse than he is. It's a very Parks horse to win that Parks kind of a race. But this was a horse that they had high hopes for initially, and it didn't quite work out for them on the Derby Trail. And it seems like he's just better as a 4-year-old. He's better going a little bit shorter than those distances they were stretching him out to, and he does need a bit of pace to run at here. But I thought he showed he could overcome a bad pace scenario last time, and I don't see why he can't do it again today or Saturday.
By the way, not to completely change subjects, the Twitter outrage was that Loves Only You won the champion turf female over Warlike Goddess, which is a absolute robbery. But
didn't we give our award?
We gave our award went to Loves Only You.
Did we? Did we really?
I'm pretty sure it was like unanimous.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Damn it.
Do you not remember that Loves Only You ended up romping in that Hong Kong race, like right after that?
But it's the Eclipse Awards, not the Hong Kong Jockey Club Awards.
Well, there's nothing about the Eclipse Awards. It has to be an American-based horse.
Okay. I honestly don't remember who we picked, but
I mean, I get your point, but they should specify if they want to avoid shit like this.
Yeah. Murphy's saying
that
Murphy's saying that Popular Kids time form figures match up with a lot of the field, but he doesn't know if the Remington figs are gonna kind of match up with everybody else here.
Yeah, I saw that when I was capping, and 2 wins coming into this. I'd actually marked that horse down because I think I don't remember when we were initially doing our planning. I thought that who was going to end up carrying? Yeah, Brian was going to have that, and I was going to have the retort, and I was hoping Brian was going to eat some chalk so that I could talk about that one. I thought Popular Kid was really kind of interesting there. Horse really likes to win. Seems to be in very good form right now. I realize it's a 8-year-old, and Caleb doesn't bet older horses, but those if you trust any of those last 2 figures, the horse fits here and should be in contention.
Yeah, I mean at 20-1, I wouldn't talk anyone off throwing a bet onto him, but to me, I mean Lone Star, Remington, Turf Paradise, I'm a little skeptical of some of those figures. He couldn't beat Calbred horses at Santa Anita in his one recent start. At a real track. So I have a hard time really seeing him repeat those numbers against better. But he did beat Rated R Superstar, so I mean it's not impossible. And at 20-1, I mean you could do a lot worse. They made this 6 horse not to switch gears 1-9.
1-9, and this 3 is this 3 going to run him down?
I mean, it looks like it. The 6 is looking pretty bad. Is that a Ravelli?
If there's 3, 6 might carry.
That was wrong lead the entire stretch.
He's finally switched leads.
I thought the 6 wasn't the 6. Was the 6 the Ravelli horse? No, the Brad Cox horse. It was Brad Cox. Yeah. I ran back a pick 3, singling the 6. I got the 3-6 in the next race, and then I singled the 12, which was the speed in the last race, which is different than when I played in my pick 5, which I already said I would never do.
Yeah,
but I did it. But I did it because I'm going to see if this 12 holds on in the last race and spices it up a little bit. But
I did the same thing. I played 6-6, 112, and a $5 pick 3, just trying to leverage the chalk and catch a bomb in the last leg. Speed seems really good, so I actually threw the 1 on and kind of tossed my other horses and left the 12 on, who I liked initially.
Yep. So, but that's going to do it, I think, for us on tonight's stream. Still up in the air, but we might do something real quick Saturday morning. I got to see who's around, and I had a guest lined up. We're going to see if he's still available. He was celebrating the fact that his wife or girlfriend was out of town for the weekend, so he was like thinking about all the stuff he could do. And the first thing I said was like, "Do you want to jump on a stream Saturday morning?" We
all know Brian. You don't got to pretend.
Not Brian, but we'll see. We'll see if he comes through. But we might try and do some Saturday morning streams, kind of. I don't know so much of like handicapping and stuff, but maybe just casual, just talk about what we're gonna play for the day, what we're doing. I know a lot of us are looking ahead towards tourneys and stuff like that, so maybe do a little bit tourney talk and some more free talk stuff there, and kind of do them before the races start. Just almost like what's the Saturday game day or whatever the ESPN does? Kind of just talk around talk around the different tracks. But um, Caleb, what do you got going on this weekend?
As far as live betting, I'll be pretty light probably. I got to get some content out there for Horse Racing Nation for the Tampa Bay Sam F. Davis and then the El Camino Royale at Golden Gate. I think both of those races look fairly formful, so I don't think we'll see anything crazy. But yeah, I'll have some content out there, be glancing around, and then actually, the Stable Duel's having a real big contest on Saturday at Tampa for the Sam F. Davis. I think it's like a $30,000 guarantee, so I'll probably throw a stable into that, but nothing too crazy for me besides that.
Mark, what do you got this weekend?
Got myself a Players Championship qualifier today, so I got my seat there. Going to try to get a Keeneland G1 Gamble seat over the next couple of days. See if I can get one of those and not have to spend crazy for it. Otherwise, I'll be skiing this weekend, so probably fairly light on the live stuff. Might take a look at that late Tampa sequence just because it looks a little interesting, and yeah, just dabble in spot playing. Nothing major going on. A little bit, I think, probably the same for all of us. We're all trying to get it qualified for a few tournaments coming up in sort of an April timeframe.
Yep, I'll probably be playing horses from Gulfstream to Hong Kong as usual on Saturday, and all while playing League of Legends, probably for about 20 hours. So, yeah, so just typical Saturday for me. But Sunday's the Super Bowl, so I know we'll be having a little bit of party at my family's house, so should be a fun little weekend. Good luck. Good luck with everyone's bets this weekend. We might see you on Saturday, and if not, you guys have a good weekend.